What's up, everybody? It's your boy Carceno here. And now they've moved on to target number two. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. They've gone from Kanye West to Kyrie Irving. Just like that. How quick the mighty moves. I know people are like, well, damn, that was quick. That's how they move. Just that swift. Now, they took everything away from Kanye West, stripped him of everything. I mean, record deals, everything on the table. And for what? They still haven't even told anybody why. Because they feel like we don't have to. We are who we are. So we don't have to. Now, in case you've been under a rock, Kanye West has said some comments on his social media, went on done interviews, and made some claims that were viewed by the ADL and other people as anti-Semitic. And once he made these statements, everybody was so outraged and hurt, they decided to take away everything that he had, from his Adidas deals, everything. They went to immediately shutting this man down and made it as if this was his entire life because he made this statement or whatever on social media, and he didn't apologize for it or whatever the nature may be. And now, here it is saying Kyrie Irving, who posted, he didn't say one word. Kyrie Irving posted a Prime Video link to a video that's a movie saying Hebrews to Negroes, wake up Black America. And Tsai comes out and just blast Kyrie Irving. And I mean, without having a conversation with Kyrie Irving, comes out and immediately goes on social media and says, I'm disappointed that Kyrie appears to support a film based on a book full of anti-Semitic disinformation. I want to sit down and make sure he understands this is hurtful to all of us, and as a man of faith, it is wrong to promote hate based on race, ethnicity, or religion. Now, that's what Tsai said. But Tsai and his Alibaba financially supported China's cultural genocide, right? With the Uyghur Muslims. But he's saying he don't support that. That is amazing. That is very amazing to me. Now, here's what I find very interesting. I have not seen this Hebrews to Negroes. I have not read the book. So I don't know if it's anti Semitic. But from what they're telling me that it's about, it is about the slave trade of the transatlantic slave trade with the Jewish people and mostly Arab nation And this story has been told many different times, many different ways. Merry Christmas to you. Right? So, I say, let's get into this, shall we? Let's get into what this is all about. Kyrie Irving is a man of faith. Kyrie Irving is not a racist man. Kyrie Irving is a man. And as a man, Kyrie Irving has promoted nothing but unity, transparency, and has never displayed any type of racistness when he played with any player on a team or anything else. Now, before he made that statement, Tsai should have had a conversation already with Kyrie Irving before making that post. I only hope and pray that he did. Because if not, then you are setting yourself up for some of the most brutal, awful, just most ridiculous layout of anything I've ever seen. Now, for me, I look at this and I look at the situation and I say, wow, there we go. People are trying to rewrite history. There's books, there are documented evidence that back up these things. The Jewish people will say it's false literature and claim that the Jewish people only played a small part of the slave trade, that they were basically brokers. They helped broker deals in slave trades. Now, they blame other races for statements that are being made. Majority of the Jewish people believe that they have been slandered by others who have made this claim that they were in charge, and that there's a rumor that they control all the banks, media, and all of these things in these narratives. And all I can say to people is do your homework. That's all I can tell you to do. If you do your homework, if you study the world, go do your history lesson. Say, I'm going to go back and I'm going to look at who were the forefathers who was running things and just what were their nationalities. Um, you will see Green, Goldstein. You'll see a lot of those as the top people who were running the banking industry or were in charge of the banking industry. There's a lot of Greens, a lot of Goldsteins, a lot of people that appear to be Jewish. So when they say the Jewish people control the banks, a large portion of the banking systems were run by people who happen to be Jewish. Of the major banks in the world, they just happen to be ran and overseen by people who were Jewish. Now, if they disagree, or if I'm saying something that is unfactual, someone can provide the information and have that dialogue. But we have to get out of this realm, this new thing of just saying that's cap, that's anti Semitic. That's no, that doesn't work. That's not the way it should go at all. If you feel that is the intent, if you feel that is the direction, if you feel that is wrong, show them where they're wrong. Tell them where they're wrong. Don't try to silence people when they're trying to speak. If they're incorrect, let them know where they're wrong at. That's like if someone says LeBron James is the greatest player in the NBA, and I go, no, and I will give you plenty of reasons as to why he isn't. I'm just not gonna say you're stupid. LeBron James the best player. Oh, you're just stupid. You're anti-common sense. Yep, he's anti-common sense. That's it. I have to give you a reason to why that isn't the case. Kyrie Irving didn't say anything. Just now, because he retweets something that somebody probably sent him, he probably found the information interesting or probably didn't even see it yet. He might be friends with the person that wrote it. And because whoever didn't like what was there, now let's go out to Kyrie Irving for retweeting it or posting a retweet. Now Kyrie Irving is anti Semitic because of that? We're getting way out of control with everybody wanting to be victims. Okay? Now they say this is a false story about Jewish people and them owning a lot of slaves and all this. I am not finna get into that here. That will be on the Patreon. But throughout the history of this world, I've watched this, I listened to a ridiculous and was reading a ridiculous Rolling Stone article on Kyrie Irving in this incident. And it's on Twitter, it's everywhere. The writing is so stupid. It's more egregious than probably that book that they're complaining about. That writing basically is trying to say, in false pretense, that, you know, blacks or Hebrews are the first Jews or the original Jews. It's basically saying, like, that part is fiction. And then he keeps calling us black Hebrews. It's like, do you know the word Hebrew basically is black? The blacks were the Hebrews. So it's like, the black Hebrews, it's like, were there any other kind? It's like, really, this that writing should be called into question. That article from the guy who wrote for Rolling Stone and had the Kyrie Irving supporting this guy, and that writer right there, you know, if he want to go history book from history book, you know, we could sit down and talk about that. But trying to make everybody a victim or a target for this new cancel culture thing, it's crazy. By just using one word and just say he's anti-Semitic and then go after attacking people, it's nonsense. He's hurting people. Nobody's hurt by these statements. That you guys are trying to make people hurt by the statements by keep promoting it. I never saw. I never saw a lot of these different things that people talked about. It's a lot of claims these people make out here and try to change the narratives. We've seen a lot of our rights being violated, but during the civil rights movement and during those ages when you had more Jewish people coming in from of overseas and they were being discriminated against, well after slavery was abolished, the Jewish people were working along with the blacks side by side to help them get civil rights. You know, this that actually happened. The uh, the Jewish people helped black people set up organizations and showed them how to organize the NAACP when they were starting their ADL and building. Um, it was a whole different time as they met. The majority of them met in the migration period, where most of the blacks from down south migrated to the Midwest. And in those major cities, a lot of Jewish people that were there worked with the blacks because they were being persecuted also. So blacks and Jews were working together at that time. When Jewish people were living in the South, the issue of integration posed an unsettling question, but 1% of the nation, the white neighbors that they had, they were like accepted as honorary white Protestants. Um, they were Northern Jews, and they had what they call the good Southern Jews. Now, all through this time, the Jewish people learned how to work together, organize. They knew they had people against them, so they had to work together. And they saw the way the blacks were being mistreated, and the way they were being mistreated, and a lot of them were being mistreated by some other Jewish that was already here in the country. And most of the people who escaped the war um, that was going on, World War II, and all of these different things, came over from different areas of Normandy, Germany, Russia, from all over. They were coming to the United States to flee what was happening up north, and they came to the western regions to escape all the madness that had happened back in their homelands, only to find out they were being discriminated here as well. So they friended the only people that was being persecuted just as much as they were, and that was the African American people. And they helped us organize to where we would actually have the structure to start our own discriminational league, which was the NAACP. And they actually marched for rights with Dr. King. They marched. Most of them wanted to march with everyone else, like Marcus Garvey. There's a lot of people who did a lot of work who happened to be Jewish that was working with African Americans at that time. Now, did most of the Jewish people that during those times in the 1900s, the early 1900s, did you have some that were racist? Maybe. I believe so. You had some, but not all. There were other people that were here in this country, and they were very racist. A lot of them were very racist at that time. They were racist against Jewish people. They were racist against black people. It was very difficult. There was a lot of Jewish people lost their lives. A lot of black people lost their lives. Now, people can argue sticks and stones all they want. Kyrie Irving is a basketball player who's only spreading love throughout the world. The man is not out here harming people. He's not telling you to take this. He's not telling you to try that. He retweeted it because maybe some people who follow him might want to watch it. And because one of you guys don't like whatever this movie is about, you immediately call it just promoting hatred. I haven't seen it, so I can't say it is or it isn't. But we will get on the Patreon and talk about this more openly and more freely. But right now, this is where we are with the situation. Now, what I told you are facts. Not my opinion, not my thoughts, the facts about blacks working with Jews, with Jewish people, and them coming together when they came in from overseas. They helped each other. Now in California, things was a little different. They was called the hippie state. Everybody was more kumbaya and just laxed than how it was in the rest of the world. In the Midwestern regions in the South, it's entirely different. Now, this guy from the Rolling Stone seems to believe that it's like fiction to believe that the original Jews weren't black. Like that part was fiction. It's not like, or not as if, you know, we can't go back and see that it's clear in the Bible. They even try to change things or say things, or they forget to take things out. That was key. But I remember in the story of Moses, they said Moses' hand turned white, right? And then it turned back black again. Anybody remember that part of the Bible where Moses' hand had turned white and then it turned back black again? They actually put that in there in translation. So if his hand turned white and then turned back black again to its original state and color, then that basically just told you Moses was black. But what do I know? So, yeah, that's where it is. Everyone wants everyone to bow down to what they believe in. They want everybody to be subservient to whatever they feel is the right thing. They want everybody to be on board with whatever it is that they're doing. And if you're not on board with it, then tough. You know? And I just don't think that's fair to anybody. I don't think that's fair to Kyrie Irving. I don't think it's fair to do that to anybody. They're going over the top with Kanye because Kanye wanted to go over the top and defy them. My thing is, where's the open dialogue for discussion? Okay? You want your claims and everything that you say, prove it. Show me where this is wrong. Show me that your involvement is being promoted wrong. Prove it. Don't give me something, some blah, 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 some joker wrote who just happened to be Jewish, who's writing and rewriting history. I want to hear something real that's already been out there, right? Because I'm quite sure historical documents have been altered and changed throughout time in history. You know that, I know that. Anybody who said anything, information was destroyed. And people were never seeing this information again. I don't know how many times we have seen our documents, our legacy, lost or stolen. All these so-called Christians never fight for the identity of Christ. When we say, oh, well, Christ was black, they all say negative things, right? He could be anything in the world, but he can't be black. When all the evidence in their own books promotes the fact that he is dark, he is black, he is of color. Your own book, your own information that has been altered says these things. Gives you indication that he is. Then, when you know it to be true, you say, what is the color of his color? Doesn't matter. What does it matter what color he is? Then why is the pictures of him being white? if the color doesn't matter. Because every other nation can have a picture of their God that they believe in. The Chinese have their Buddha. Indians have their Krishna. The Mexicans, well, they had their God, and now they worship Christ and everybody else. But now, all these gods and all of these things have been changed. All these things have been underwater or everywhere else. Books of the Bibles are missing. Lost translations all around the world. And we know this to be true. We still do not fight for the identity of Christ as a people. So how could you be Christian and say that, right? And you don't stick up for the identity of Christ. We're the only ones not supposed to have a God that looks like us. All the people of power have a God that looks like them. And they take strength from that. They say, we know our history and you can't change it. Everyone else has a flag that is theirs. They have a cuisine or meal. They come to this country, they got that. Mexicans wave a Mexican flag and they root for it. They promote the fact that, hey, he's from Mexican. They're rooting for him because he's from Mexico. That's a good thing. The Irish people are rooting for him because he's Irish. They come out with the, I'm Irish and proud. And they got their flag going. No one complains. The Canadians got their flag. Filipinos got their flags. They're waving it. And they can support whoever they want. They don't have to know how good they are. They don't have to know if he's a good person. All they need to know is that person is the same thing as me. And that's the reason why I'm rooting for him. And they don't even question it. But a black person do that, they are drugged through the mud. Oh man, why you just supporting him because he's black? I'll be like, so what if I am? You see? Isn't that asinine? I have Jewish friends. And you know what? Neither one of them want to get into that conversation. Now ask yourself, why is that? Why are they so afraid to have that dialogue? Why are they so afraid to have that conversation? The conversation that should be and needs to be had. I hope you guys have hit the like button and supported this video, because this is the one that needs to be supported. Now we're going to go on the Carceno for Life Patreon. We're going to light it up. We're going to light this mother to the moon. So I hope y'all with me, because we finna get down. Because we want to get this conversation going. But we want the Jewish people to get involved too. This is an open discussion that we need to have so that we don't have this problem anymore. And people can move forward. And other people can speak without them saying, oh, you're being anti-Semitic and just being dismissive. No. We need to have this dialogue. So let's have this dialogue. But don't get dismissive and say that you guys are not largely in the media and have influence in the media. You do. You can't sit there and say about the banking industry, because you do. Now, it's easy to be dismissive and try to write it off, but if you want to go facts for facts or bring up different statements, we can have this conversation. Oh, we're going to go into it on the Patreon because we need to have this done. We needed to have this conversation. We need to have that moment where people can understand what it is exactly is the problem. Let's address it. And if what other people are saying is true, those people who are oppressing others based on prejudiceness and racism and hiding behind those tropes, those are the ones that need to be brought out to light and not condemn an entire race. All right? So let's start getting those conversations out there. So that this thing can stop and people don't have to repeat it anymore. Because if you addressed it, the right way instead of just trying to silence people, then maybe these type of conversations wouldn't be had anymore, because the people are actually looking for clarity than trying to act like it's wrong and it never existed. So I'm out. Don't forget to support your boy Carceno. My Cash App is Carceno, K A R C E N O. Now you know I'm out the door.